Okay, and now we are jumping into a new topic. Okay, so that is object-oriented programming as part of JavaScript itself. Okay, so till now all we focused was just how to work with functions in all the ways possible. Okay, so we have seen functions, the normal user-defined functions and self-executing functions, anonymous functions, all of such sort, along with inner, outer, closure, returning functions, and passing, say, callback functions. We have seen all of such. Okay, and all of that stuff is available again from the object-oriented perspective. Okay, so now I'm going to say something like, so let me continue this. Okay, we will start with very basic things. Okay, in a gradual way we will understand the complexity inside. Just imagine I'm directly explaining the closure all of a sudden. No one can really understand what exactly is a closure without having all of the previous examples. Okay, so similarly I'm going to go step by step. Okay, so we will start, we already know about array, and we have to understand the difference between an array and an object in JavaScript especially. Okay, so again we start with our famous topic array again, and this time, okay, we know that we can always have arrays with elements something like this, right? So what I'm saying here is a value 10 is going to be placed in the 0th position of array A. So usually everyone or the programmers would simply say like the 0th element of array is 10, the first element of array is 20. Okay. However, we have other flexibility as part of JavaScript arrays. Something like I can say in this way as well. Yes, it is called as key value pairs in general. Okay, so I can say something like salary, and now I can say something like this. Let me give say 5400, and I want to have the department number, and let me give something like 20. What exactly is this one now? So we are saying that the value 1001 needs to be placed in some location in the array with the name employee number, which means you are naming that location of the array element as employee number. Okay, in that way we have the flexibility to name the locations of the array elements. That is possible in JavaScript. Okay, and such kind of such kind of array, usually you will be calling it as associative arrays. Okay, so whenever anyone talks something like associative array, you should understand an array which is made up of your own keys and your own values. Okay, so we call this, all of these as keys. Okay, and all of these as values. So if you are not using your own keys, obviously you must be going with 0, 1, 2 index based array. Okay, so index based arrays are pretty much common. However, key based arrays are usually called as associative arrays. Okay, now we know how to display these elements directly in return, right? So I can say something like array of employee number dot toString. Okay, yes, because it is a numeric value, I'm saying that that value needs to be converted to toString before it is getting alerted. Okay, this is possible. So we are good right there. Okay. So let me give another way. now I am saying ename dot toString. I need to put this, yeah. Okay, so in that way I can have two more. I don't need the last one. Yeah. Oh, what's happening? Oh, okay, this is the one I'm missing here, right? Yeah. And I need to have one more here, and I need to have one more here. Okay, so ename is already a string value, so I don't need this. Whereas sal is a numeric value, I need toString, and department number is also a numeric value, and I would need this. Okay, so all I'm saying is just trying to concatenate all of those into one single string, and it is supposed to display all of those values. So we are pretty much sure on how the associative arrays work, right? But there is one interesting aspect which we would never know unless we are familiar with object-oriented programming in JavaScript. That is interesting. So now what I'm going to say is, instead of using this notation, okay, I'm going to write array dot employee number. That is valid, and in only JavaScript. Okay, so indirectly you can think that an array is nothing but an object in JavaScript. Okay, and as we know from the object-oriented fundamentals, an object would always be having properties inside, and all of those keys, whatever you have provided for the array to assign the array elements, those keys will be converted to properties internally. Okay, so all of this notation, whatever you are providing, even though you are writing using the array notation, internally it works with object notation. Okay, and now I can say dot employee number dot toString and dot ename and dot salary and dot department number. Yeah, and this is valid only for associative arrays but not for index based arrays. Yeah, so you cannot say array.0.toString, array.2.toString. It doesn't make sense for JavaScript. Okay, yeah, so the object notation is only valid for associative arrays. Okay, so now I open it, and the first array we know that, and even the second alert, which is exactly our object notation, we are going to get something like this. So now that we are familiar with the array and at the same time object, we understood what exactly is an array, and at the same time we understood what exactly is an object. So an object is nothing but an implementation of array behind the scenes, or an array is nothing but an object internally. Okay, so whether you declare an object, or whether you declare an array, or whether you declare a function, whether you declare a variable, everything in JavaScript is just object. A function is an object, array is an object, and if you define you're an object, that's going to be also an object. So, okay, so it is object notation everywhere, and those objects are too dynamic in JavaScript. Okay, that is the difference. Like, if we go with object oriented programming, usually, you have to define a class and then define the properties, and whenever you declare an object, those go with respect to the strict rules and regulations with respect to the classes you might be defining. Okay, but in this case, there are no classes. Everything is an object. Okay, and those objects are not at all strict. Those are highly extensible in any way. Okay, so we are going to have more and more examples now. Okay.